In this video, we're going to look at comparing two means with a paired sample. And the question is, glaucoma is a leading cause of blindness in the United States. NEithers measured the corneal thickness of 8 patients who had glaucoma in one eye but not in the other. The following are the data on the corneal thickness in microns. At the 10% significance level, does the data provide sufficient evidence to conclude that the mean corneal thickness is greater in normal eyes than in eyes with glaucoma? So the first thing that we want to do is find the difference, because this is a difference test. So we're going to find D. In order to find D, I'm going to do normal minus glaucoma. So we have 484 minus 488 is -4. 478 minus 478 is 0. 492 minus 480 is 12. 444 minus 426 is 18. 436 minus 440 is -4. 398 minus 410 is -12. 464 minus 458 is 6. And 476 minus 460 is equal to 16. And now what we want to find is D bar, which is our mean, and our standard deviation of the difference. In order to find these, I'm going to plug all my D values into my calculator, and I'm going to go to one variable statistics, and I'm going to find D bar is equal to 4, and S of D is equal to 10.744. And we're also going to need N, which is equal to 8. There was 8 patients. And we're going to need this degree of freedom, because this is a t-test. And degree of freedom is 8 minus 1 for this test, so 7. And our significance level is equal to 0.1. So the first thing we want to do in this problem is create our null hypothesis and our alternative hypothesis. And for the alternative hypothesis, they ask us, does the data provide sufficient evidence to conclude that the mean corneal thickness is greater in normal eyes? Well, when we subtracted normal eyes minus glaucoma eyes, if the thickness was greater in normal eyes, then we would have a positive D. So we're trying to prove that mu sub D is greater than 0. And our null hypothesis would be mu sub D is less than or equal to 0. So we have a one-tailed test, a right-tailed test, and our t-crit is the next thing we want to find. And we have one-tailed, 7 degrees of freedom, and 0.1 significance level. So we go one tail, 10%, down to 7 degrees of freedom, and we find that our critical value is 1.415. So t-crit is equal to 1.415, and our rejection region is then going to be reject H0 if t-calc is greater than 1.415, and our formula for t-calc is equal to D bar divided by S sub D divided by the square root of N, which is equal to D bar was 4 divided by S sub D was 10.744 divided by the square root of N, which is the square root of 8. And when we calculate this, we get 1.053. And 1.053 is not greater than 1.415, so we're going to fail to reject H0. And now we need to write a conclusion. And our conclusion would be, at the 10% significance level, the data does not provide sufficient evidence to conclude that the mean corneal thickness is different in normal eyes than eyes with glaucoma.